of Pi is one of the few novels and major motion movies that teaches us life lessons. Through religion, spirituality, hope, and forgiveness, Life of Pi shows us that there is more to life than just materialistic items. Through his journey across the sea with the tiger, who is not only seen but an animal, but as a killer, it is shown that if we give what is evil a chance and show our spirituality in more ways than one, that we will be rewarded by God himself. To summarize the book, I will start with part 1 all the way to part 3 and then proceed by reading my essay. Part 1 of Life of Pi is narrated by Pi himself. He narrates from an advanced age, looking back at his earlier life as a high school and college student in Toronto, then even further back into his childhood. He explains that he has suffered intensity and found solace in religion and zoology. He describes how close business associates of his father and a competitive swimming champion taught him how to swim and bestowed upon him his unusual name. Pi is named after Payson Molitor, a Parisian swimming club. We learn that Pi's father once ran a Pondicherry zoo, teaching Pi and his brother Ravi about the dangerous nature of animals by feeding a live goat to a tiger before their young eyes. Pi, brought up as Hindu, discovers Christianity, Islam, then choosing to practice all three religions simultaneously, as well as Hindu. Motivated by India's political strife, Pi's parents decide to move the family to Canada on June 21st, 1977. They set sail in a cargo ship along with crew and many cages full of zoo creatures. Begins to sink. Pi clings to a lifeboat and encourages the tiger, Richard Parker, to join him. Realizing his mistake in bringing a wild animal abroad, Pi leaps into the ocean. The narrative jumps back in time as Pi describes the explosive noise and chaos of the sinking crew members. They throw him into a lifeboat where he soon finds himself alone with a zebra, hyena, and other animal. His family is gone. The storm subsides and Pi contemplates his difficult situation. The hyena kills the zebra, and then, to Pi's intense surprise, Richard Parker, the tiger, reveals himself. He had been at the bottom of the lifeboat all along. Soon the tiger kills the hyena. Pi and Richard Parker are alone together at sea. Pi subsists in canned water, filtered seawater, and emergency rations, and freshly caught sea life. He also provides for the tiger, whom he masters and trains throughout his time at sea. The days pass slowly, and the lifeboat's passengers barely exist. During a bout of temporary blindness brought dehydration, Pi has a run-in with another blind castaway. The two discuss food and tether the boats together to one another. When the blind man attacks Pi, intending to eat him, Richard Parker kills him. Not long after, the boat pulls up to a strange island of trees that grow directly out of vegetation, without any soil. Pi and Richard Parker stay here for a time, sleeping in their boat and exploring the island during the day. Pi discovers a huge colony of mercats who sleep in the trees of freshwater ponds. One day, Pi finds human teeth in a tree fruit and comes to the conclusion that the island eats people. He and Richard Parker head back out to sea, finally washing ashore on the Mexican beach. Richard Parker runs off and villagers take Pi to a hospital. He spent over 200 days at sea. In part 3, 2 officers from the Japanese Ministry of Transport interview Pi about his time at sea, hoping to shed light on the fate of his doomed ship. Pi tells the story, but does not fully satisfy the skeptical men. So he tells it again, this time replacing the animals with humans. A cook instead of a hyena, a sailor instead of a zebra, and his mother instead of the other animal. The officers note that the 2 stories match up, and the second is far likelier. In their final report, they comment Pi for living so long with an adult tiger. Spirituality can be examined in many ways. Not only can it be practiced through religion, but also through meditation, yoga, and journaling. This subject is one of the most misunderstood topics debated across the country to this day, as spirituality and religion go hand in hand. People and their beliefs is what keeps the world going, as without people and their beliefs, it is challenging to find a purpose of being on the earth. In the novel of Life of Pi, written by Jan Martel, spirituality is explored in a number of ways through the character Pi himself. Shown throughout the novel, Pi's spirituality is paramount, as mentally and physically it saves him on multiple occasions. Throughout the story, Pi makes connections between people and animals. As a zoologist, he thrives on making new discoveries regarding animals, especially sloths and tigers. Pi states the following: I am not one given protecting human traits and emotions onto animals, but many a time during the month in Brazil, looking up at the sloths in response, I felt I was in the patience of upside-down yogis, deep in the meditation or hermits deeper in prayer. Wise begins whom's intense imaginative lives were beyond the reach of my scientific probing. The calm patience that they show as they go about their lives leaves Pi curious and wondering if there is more than just science that explains his scientific discoveries. As a result, he needs and uses religions to fill in the blank and incorporates his imagination into his spirituality. As humans, we are surrounded by aura, which is an electromagnetic field that surrounds us. It can be described as a blueprint of one's thoughts and intentions, shown through color. The color of our aura is influenced through many things, including physical conditioning, emotions, level of consciousness, thoughts, and physical surroundings. Being spiritually active will significantly alter one's aura colors naturally. Much like humans, animals also have auras. Although humans' auras are much more complex and contain many colors and shades, the aura of animals reveals the same internal thoughts. According to BelieveNet, we share many biological similarities with animals. If you ever were to look at the aura of a human and the aura of an animal, you would immediately see that the aura of a human is much more intricate. So animals are not going to have a large or as big complex as humans do, but they have the same intentions. The theme of spirituality is demonstrated through our auras, and possibly guided by God himself in any religion. Pi uses his imagination combined with his spirituality to understand life on a deeper level. In the Bible, people viewed all changes in nature as a sign from God. As science became more understood and technology progressed, we replaced our beliefs with facts. When out at sea, Pi had nothing but his spirituality to get him through each and every minute, as his knowledge of science has led to the conclusion that he would die out there. One day, lightning strikes the water, and he becomes overwhelmed with excitement and hope. Praise to Allah, Lord of all worlds, compassionate, merciful, ruler of Judgment Day. I muttered to Richard Parker, I shouted. Stop your trembling. This is a miracle. This is an outbreak of divinity. This is, I could not find out what this is. This is so vast and fantastic. To Pi, this is a physical connection from God to earth, bringing his godly presence to earth through nature. This connection stands as a sign and assurance that God was communicating with Pi not to give up. Because of his spirituality and imagination, Pi was once again saved. Day by day, Pi's spirituality grows in ritual. He relies on more and more things the longer he is at sea. Here, Pi explains the significance of his spirituality. I was giving up. I would have given up if a voice hadn't made itself heard in my heart. I will not die. I refuse it. As stated above in his quality of prayer and meditation, fasting becomes very meaningful to him. He incorporates turtle blood as a subsequential item on his boat, again showing the physical and mental effects of spirituality and how it saved him. Although science is what the majority of people rely on, spirituality is a much bigger component that should be explored more often. Even though it is something as simple as yoga or listening to a meditation podcast once a week, Spirituality broadens the mind and exercises our brain. It should be taught regularly to exercise our minds, modeling some of the tactics that Pi used throughout his life to get through his difficult time on the boat.